Donald Trump won an election through podcasting, yes, appearing on Joe Rogan Experience. Like one of the major reasons most times people tune into podcasts are because of the nature of that are coming on this set. I'm one of the first podcasters that started earning money from podcasts when podcast was still emerging. Our podcast was chatting at number 1 or number 3 with The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. And now, how do we start a podcast? First things first. Hello there, welcome to another episode brought to you by Cafe One Studios. This is not the usual episode where you have a guest. This is an episode with me, Tolu Afilaka, and my favorite toys, the microphone, the cameras, the lights. And this episode, of course, with the equipment I just mentioned, you should know what it's about. It is about podcasting. A lot of people come up to me, walk up to me and say, Tolu, we've seen you've done a good job with podcasting. We've seen you've built an audience from it. We see your content everywhere. How do I get into podcasting? This episode is definitely for you. Podcasting is, will I say, something that has, gradually metastasized into something that is big. Everyone wants to be on a podcast. Political candidates. People literally say Donald Trump won an election through podcasting, yes, appearing on Joe Rogan Experience. People said that gave him an edge because he was able to air his views. A lot of people see podcasting as also a platform to set the narrative straight. Some term it as controversial, some shy away from it, but I think every business and every person should at least have a podcast or push their product on the podcast because it is a fast-rising industry which happened to actually become full-blown in the COVID year 2020. Now, how do we start a podcast? First things first, have a niche. What do you want to be known for? I was going through the top lists of podcasts that's chatted on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We had Joe Rogan Experience, we had Diary of a CEO, we had Mel Robinson podcast, we had Tucker Carlson podcast, we had Chris Williamson Modern Wisdom, we had True Crime, we have That's History, and many more podcasts. Each and every one of these podcasts had a genre and a niche. It's just like movies. You have some people that love horror movies, we have people that like sci-fi and whatever it is. So everyone has his own unique audience. I mean, there are billions of people living on the surface of the earth. You are definitely going to have your own particular niche or people who love your stuff. Many people love my content because it's related to wisdom. It relates to stories that are emerging. It relates to sometimes it could be spiritual. You could see someone as spiritual talking about something that is transcendent, that is not very, very unique. So find your niche. If your niche is music, you love to talk about music. We have people like Joey Akan, who had his own podcast. We have a number of people who have their podcasts that relates to music. If you want to do crime, make sure that you have that niche and you stick to the niche. When you have a niche, the next thing you need then is a guest. Now, kind of questions I get asked all the time, how do I get a guest? I feel like one of the major reasons most times people tune into podcasts are because of the nature of the guests that are coming on the set. So you must make sure that your guest is also aligned to your niche. You can't start bringing someone like a Jide Kosoko to come and be talking about crime. What does he have to do? But if your podcast is about entertainment, film, movie reviews, and you have someone like a Jide Kosoko or a William Benson or anyone in Elfunke Akindele, and you have on your podcast, it helps you grow. Maybe you now start building a community of people who love movies, who love critics, who love things about box office and all of that. People know that what they expect to listen or hear from you is about movies and film. Also, if you are someone that just likes things like Big Bone, that's where we have Jola and FK. I said what I said. They've built a whole community of people who love to listen to them, on their platform. So having your guests must be tailored to your niche. Then you must plan your content and the format. How do you want to start? How is your intro? How is your outro? What do you want to have in between? There's a segment on I Said What I Said where Jola and FK read comments from their fans. They have built a whole community. Many people now start getting their messages read on the live podcast recording, and it has a sense of feeling and belonging. So whatever be your format, whatever be your structure in the podcast, make sure it is consistent. Make sure people know what to expect. For Diary of a CEO, they have a trailer at the beginning. From the trailer, it transitions into the episode. Diary of a CEO has a movie-like kind of thing. as a matter of fact, people now watch Diary of a CEO in the cinemas. They have premieres for particular episode. So make sure you plan your content as much as possible. Secondly, fourth, you must have the right equipment. You can see I'm in a good studio. You can hear me clearly because we use the right equipment. This is a Rode mic. I have a Sony camera facing me. I have another Sony camera right here. I have lightings everywhere. I have the matte light. I have the other lights that are projecting here and there. Get the right equipment. It helps you because people will not want to start straining their ears to listen to you. Even if I was talking low, if I was speaking very low, you would still hear me because I have a good mic. And if I'm speaking loud, you can still hear me properly. It's crisp. It helps the audio engineer to even edit it. Some people are wicked. You will go and record with your voice memo, your iPhone, and then you send it to audio engineer that you should work on it. No, you should get good equipment. You can go to any store, get equipment. You can even work with a mic, a lapel mic for a start. But make sure that you are loud and you are audible. That will help you a lot. Getting a good camera is very important. Not cameras that will stress your life out. Get good memory card. Get a good audio interface. Get a good software that you use to edit. If you can't do this, these are things that you can outsource to people. There's a whole market and industry that is emerging that relates to podcasting, where you can get good sound, get good audio visual. Roadcaster is also there. You might not see the Roadcaster in this video, I don't know, but we have a Roadcaster that is taking the audio as I speak into the mic straight into the Roadcaster, and the audio engineer has little or no effort. Yes, you can see right now, little or no effort to work on it. Next is take the bold move. Record your first episode. Stop waiting. My first episode that I recorded was in COVID. I make boast to say I'm one of the first podcasters that started earning money from podcasts when podcast was still emerging. Spotify for podcasters was there. Was it? I'm not sure what it was called, but I got a group of friends. We called it Jokes on You podcast, and myself, Ebuka Mike, and a couple of others. We just came on our phones in the house. They just downloaded the platform and then we recorded and we put it out. It will interest you to know that our podcast was chatting at number 1 or number 3 with The Daily Show with Trevor Noah at the time because it was new. So we were tweeting about it. People were going to listen, but for some reason we stopped. Do you understand? And so our ratings dropped and we started struggling to climb the table. But somehow, I started a new podcast eventually, and one of my episodes even got to like maybe number 8. So you need to record that, make that first move. It might not feel like it. You might not have an audience. You might have a couple of people together, maybe just 5 listens, 10 listens there, 15 listens. What matters is you've made the bold move of putting yourself out and recording your first podcast. It's that easy. Just get your microphone and start talking. Just start talking. Your friends love to listen to you. They love to hear your gist. Just start talking. But make sure you know what you want to say so that they don't drag you. Next, choose the right hosting platform. There are various platforms now. At the time, I was using Spotify. At the time, you can use Google Podcast. At the time, I was using Buzzsprout. But now you can use Acast. Acast is also another option. And there are various options. And right now, the podcast industry is trying to find a way where you can get monetized, just like YouTube. So as you get listens, companies start to look for ways for you to advertise, for them to advertise in your podcast, whether it's audio or whether it is video. So the moment you upload on it and you start getting listeners, you might get an email from Acast, from Spotify podcast that they want to put an ad in between it, and then you get paid. The first withdrawal I made was in 2021. Some clients, I think they were putting in their brand in between my audio, and then they started paying for it, at the time, and it was some good money at that time, So you must, at every point in time, choose a good platform for it, and make sure that your RSS feed, in case you want to move to another podcast platform, you have an RSS feed that is able to connect it, so you don't just lose your product and move to other ones. Next, submit your podcast to a directory. A directory is like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Keep it in a directory so that it can be searchable. When people search for it, they can see it across platforms, so that you can see it on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and many other podcasts. Next, create an artwork and for branding. It's very important for people to know you. People like to attach an image to something. So when people just have a glance of it, Let them know what your podcast stands for and represents. FK and Jola, you see both of them on the podcast sitting down together, looking so joyful. On my podcast, one of my earlier podcasts, That's My Time, you see just my face on it, looking curious, and Trevor Noah, what now? Let there be a brand art for it. It's just like when you're releasing a music video, just like you releasing an album, an audio, or a song. There was always a cover art, just to make things look good and proper. Next is promote your podcast. How do you waste money recording and then you don't promote your podcast? Podcast, to me, I feel it is 50% recording, or let me say even 70% recording, 30% promotion. You need to push it out so people can see it. Who knows? I've gotten messages from places like South Africa, Tanzania, them asking me, telling me, oh, this podcast blessed me, this did that, and all of that. So make sure you promote it, sponsor your video on Instagram, and make sure you direct them to your YouTube so that they can be blessed from it. Next is monetize your podcast. People will start to love you. When people start to love you, make sure that you create merchandise, shirts. I said what I said, started live shows. People attend the live show and they pay for it. Most times it's sold out. Get your cup branded. Call it something, we have Cafe One Studios. We brand our cups. People walk into our spaces, and all of that. Just make sure that you are selling something and get sponsors. If you can, write to people, get them to be on your show, tell them to pay for a particular segment. People pay me to host them on my podcast. Like they want to sell a book, they want to market their book. They pay me good money just to speak on the podcast. So it is actually, you can make money from podcasting. And then last but not the least, keep improving. Improve yourself at every time. Learn from others. I spend 90% of my time searching about the new edits, the new things. And that is what has helped me to scale. Find the new ways people are doing things. I use the global standard. What are the people over there doing? How is their engagement increased? How are their community engaging with them? And I bring it into Nigeria and I do it. And that's how I've been able to stand out. So don't be a local. You're not doing radio. This is podcasting. You understand? There is no limit. You can speak for 3 hours. Joe Rogan has episodes that run for 4 hours and people listen to the end, And trust me, podcasting has really helped me. Aside from me doing comedy and all the other MC and other stuff, I built a name around podcasting. People see me now randomly on the road and say, I hear your podcast. I was on the train station. Somebody tapped me from behind and say, I listen to your podcast. I've seen you online. I do this and do that. You can actually start that career. It's just you setting up your camera, getting the right equipment, getting a good branded image, submitting on a podcast directory, having a niche for yourself, and getting the right guest. My name is Tolu Afilaka. I'm sure you guys enjoyed this episode. No guests, but it's just me and you, me and the audience, me and you, me and you, me and you. We're here. You're my guest today, So I just taught you on how you can produce or start a podcast, a successful podcast in 2026. And I know this bless you. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer you. This episode is brought to you by Cafe One Studio. My name is Tolu Afilaka, and see you guys in the next episode.